Whenever? Okay.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, oh, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. 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 Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How is everybody? Excellent. Still buzzed from the conference? It was amazing. Amazing. If you are new to us here today for the first time, just a little housekeeping. You were given a program when you came in. There are some lyrics to songs we're doing today for you to sing along with us. And there are some announcements. A couple of things I want to say that aren't on there. Any speakers and musicians who performed at the conference, we still have a bit of their materials left in the bookstore. Today is the last day for you to purchase those because they get their inventory back. So head on there into the bookstore after service and purchase whatever you would like. And Rev Jonathan is in the process of getting the fall schedule put together for classes and workshops. So stay tuned. We'll have full details on all the goodies coming up for our brains and our souls in the fall. Also, this is birthday anniversary, second Sunday of the month. So if you are celebrating an anniversary or a birthday, did you fill out a little ballot when you came in and put it in the basket? If anybody's looking and going, I don't know what she's talking about. If you're having a birthday or anniversary this month, fill out a ballot of a registered charity of your choice, put it in the basket, and we will do a drawing a little bit later on, and proceeds of today's basket takings will go to that registered charity. And that is all I'm going to say. I am now going to call up to join us our wonderful, slightly tired, spiritual director, Reverend Jonathan Zenz.
Good morning. It is true. I am only slightly tired. How is everyone this morning?
Awesome.
Yes, wasn't that I had such a good time last week. I went crazy, running around, having a good time. Did you all enjoy it? Beautiful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to this community for joining together and making sure that this conference was a tremendous success. So it's due to all of you. It's, Helen and I, we were the chairs of the committee, but it's because of this community rallying together and really deciding to make a statement within Toronto. I'm grateful to each and every one of you. So thank you for all that you have contributed to the conference. couple of things. First of all, the birthday anniversary Sunday is slightly different now. We changed it last month. I don't know if you remember.
That's right, I
That's
forgot.
right.
Okay.
We actually are doing a portion of the last month's full contributions, which includes all the pre-authorized donations. Everything is put into that. So when we do the drawing later, it will be a portion of all of last month's contributions, not just a portion of what gets put in the basket today. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I am excited to announce, I don't know if you know about these things, it's the Circle of Love Gathering. This is put together by Lisa Ferrero, who was one of our on our music team last week, and David Leonard, Dr. David Leonard, who is now I can't remember where his center is. He's in the South. That's what I remember. Anyway, they do this thing called the Circle of Love Gathering. They do multiple gatherings every year. This particular one, the reason I'm bringing it to your attention is April 4th through the 8th of 2016. And it's on Quadra Island in BC. And I'm bringing it to your attention because if you'd like to join me there, I've actually been honored by being asked to be one of the keynote speakers. So, there's information. There's information on our information table back there. So why don't we go ahead and start off with some music.
Yes, why don't we all just stand up and
Let's all
get some
stand up.
energy flowing through our bodies.
Allowing the energy to simply fill us up. This is a great way to start, I think. Allowing ourselves to be opening up in sweet surrender. So take a breath and allow. You'll catch on very quickly.
Here we go.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One.
I am open.
So, those are the two parts. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. So, the way this works is these actually work together. So if you want to choose one or the other, we can make kind of a lovely musical experience here. So, we'll demonstrate for you.
All right.
I'll do this part 2, you do part 1.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the
Choose whatever part you want.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am
Allow yourself to give in to the chant.
I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One.
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you all.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. You know, I love one of the things I really love about chants is the capacity to not worry about what you're singing, not worry about the notes, not worry about, whether it sounds good, not worry about anything, but just giving over to the rhythm and the harmony and the melody, and just giving over to the energy of that vibration. For me, it's very powerful. The vibration of music is a very powerful thing, and I am grateful that we have such a great music team.
A little light.
A little light today, but very powerful nonetheless. Because music for me is a very important part of this center and of this ministry. Another very important part of this ministry are the people. Oh, I should leave this. Are the people that I'm now going to. One of the people that I'm now going to introduce. They were all introduced last week as our newly licensed practitioners at this center, and here today to share with us the benefit of her wisdom and her inspiration. Please welcome to the lectern licensed practitioner Carmen Noseworthy.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Jonathan and Helen and Judy Pressman and all the volunteers for an amazing weekend, last weekend. Yes. And thank you, Jonathan, for organizing our exams so we could present ourselves as fully immersed licensed practitioners, and it's allowing all of us to step into a bigger game, which was part of the conference. I'd like to share with you this morning some of my takeaways from the conference. That every day I was moved to tears about something, and not sad tears, but happy tears, things shifting inside of me that just allowed me to let go of some stuff that was going on. And, it started with Michael Beckwith talking about going from discipline to blisscipline. And I loved that, because discipline can seem so, as Jonathan says, it can seem so willing it to happen, right? I'm like, oh, okay, right, yes, right? So it's moving into the practices, moving into wanting to do it, not feeling like you have to do it. And so that was awesome. Another takeaway I had was, it's not just about following your bliss. And if you don't know what your bliss is yet, then find your blessings. Because when you count your blessings and you acknowledge your blessings, because thankfulness and appreciation is a causative energy. And so when you focus on your blessings, your bliss naturally finds you. And through that, as Jonathan and a couple of other people were talking about, especially on Sunday, was that is the allowing of the evolution of this philosophy to flow through and to blossom, right? We need to get out of the way. So that was another great inspiration. There was a big focus on really acknowledging and not being afraid to say, I am God. You are God. You are God. You are God. You are God. We are all God. Everything is God. The energy, the love, the grace, the divine. We are the DNA of the divine. And this is our birthright to follow our bliss, to find that creative spark that creates life in us and allows us to put our light out into the world. It was just such an amazing, just speaker after speaker after speaker was reaffirming this. Is all I can say. The other great message that I got was, God got us right the first time. God got us right the first time. There's nothing wrong with us. We don't have to fix anything. We just have to follow that light within us, and that we are already enlightened. We don't need to become enlightened. We're already enlightened. The light is already within us. It's up to us to feed that light and to let it shine and to be a blessing to the world. One interesting sentence was, this is what I wrote. I said, consciousness / life / God is a vending machine. And the only thing we have to put into it is thought and trust and allowing. It's like, right? And that focuses on the path of, following your blessings to find your bliss so you can live in blisscipline. And the other, one other important thing that I really heard was this concept, because I'd never really heard it put this way before, of resilience, right? So when things aren't quite going the way that you want to, resiliency is about standing in the truth and knowing the truth, and not allowing the circumstances to run your life, and finding that peace within and being able to say no and be patient and really think about what you want. Again, the blessings and following and allowing that light to shine. And on that same line, one of the other interesting sentences, ideas that really struck me was, I think it was Rick Tamlin playing the bigger game. It's like God cannot lose. God can't lose. There are no risks. We get mired in the fear of, what if it doesn't work and the failure. It's like, you know what? We're God. We're divine energy. God doesn't lose, right? It's just other people's opinions that makes us think we lose. There are no risks. It's our job to allow our light to shine, to follow those blessings, to follow that bliss, and be who we are meant to be, because we each have a beautiful, creative life. They talked about the divine urge. What is that beautiful divine urge that wants to come out in each and every one of us? That is my summation of the conference last week. So, there were many, many other things. And so my affirmation for today is, I am a blessing to the world. So I will ask you to repeat that with me twice. And really, I invite you to put your hands over your heart as you say it. So with me, I am a blessing to the world. And one more time. I am a blessing to the world. Namaste.
It is true, and I think that's really the takeaway for me from the conference last week, is a deeper recognition. It's funny the way we talk about these things. The things we inherently know, and then we talk about having a deeper recognition of it. You actually cannot have a deeper recognition of anything if you inherently know it. When we truly, truly resonate at the heart level and breathe into the understanding that each and every one of us is a blessing to the world. Notice the shift. We've all created a shift. So let's allow ourselves to simply experience that.
Of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Sing I again.
I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Now affirm for your neighbors all around you.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, is a blessing to the world.
And so, with this in mind, that deep resonant space of understanding, I invite you to be open to these words of Carmen as she leads us in affirmative prayer and spiritual mind treatment.
In this place of recognition and inner knowing of the blessing that each and every one of us is, knowing that that is all there is. Life is a blessing. The energy of life, the creative power back of all things that each and every one of us is the blessing itself. We are inherently the blessing for ourselves and for each and every person in our lives and to life itself. And from this understanding and knowing, I trust and know that each and every one of us allows the light within us to grow, to glow, to shine, and to show up as the blessing we are meant to be. Knowing that these words, this understanding, is fully present within our bodies right here, right now, and in our awareness of life. I allow these words to flow easily and gently and gracefully into and through and as the law of mind to show up in our experience as magnificence. This is what I know to be true. I simply let it be so. And together we say, and so it is.
And so let's affirm as a community, we are the heart. Here we go.
We are the hearts, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world.
Repeat that last line.
To the world, to the world.
Beautiful. Thank you, Carmen. If you are joining us for the first time today, in person or online, hello to everyone who has joined us online this morning. We have what I think is one of the most incredible bands within this movement. That's just my own personal feeling. One of the great compliments we received as a community last week was from, let's face it, there were some heavy hitters who came in to be with our conference band last week, like
Oh, yes.
heavy hitters, right? Across the board, they were all paying tremendous compliments to the musicianship and the leadership of Pierre Gautreau and Tanis Burnett and the entire Queen Street Band. So just... And it is a joy every single week for me to receive an email that outlines the music that is being performed that week, because I don't necessarily make those decisions. I will override them if I decide I don't want something to be sung. But they intuit exactly what is right for every single service, every single week, and I am so grateful to them. Here with our featured song of the day, please welcome Pierre Gautreau and the Queen Street Band.
Look at you, you bite your tongue. You don't know why or where I'm coming from. And in my head, I'm close to you. We're in the rain, still searching for the sun. just want you to find me. I'm not lost, just undiscovered. And when we're alone, we are the same as each other. You see that look that's on my face, you might think I'm out of place. I'm not lost, no, just undiscovered. Well, the time it takes to know someone, it can all change before you know it's gone. Before it's gone. So close your eyes and feel the way I'm with you now. Believe there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. You think that I wanna run and hide, I keep it all locked up inside, but I just want you to find me. I'm not lost, just undiscovered. And when we're alone, we are the same as each other. You see that look that's on my face, you might think I'm out of place. I'm not lost, no, just undiscovered. I'm not hiding. And if you dig a little deeper, then you'll find me. I'm not lost, undiscovered. And when we're alone, we are the same as each other. Oh, you see that look that's on my face, you might think I'm out of place. I'm not lost, no, just undiscovered. I'm not lost, undiscovered. And when we're alone, we are the same as each other. You see that look that's on my face, you might think you're out of place. I'm not lost, no, just undiscovered.
The band! The band! Wow. I'm not lost, I'm undiscovered. Undiscovered. You know, it's a great way to launch into the next experience of the perfect evolution of this community and this center. I'm not lost, just undiscovered. You know, there are a couple things that have happened for me as a result of this conference. First of all, after not using notes last week and not writing a talk, I had about 8,000 people come up to me and say, never use notes again. Yeah. Look, Ma, no notes. I titled the talk this week, Dénouement. Who here knows what that means? So for those of you who are not familiar with that particular word, it means in the course of a plot, of a script or a novel, it is where the plot items get wrapped up. It's the end. And so, for me, it just felt appropriate to kind of talk about basically what Carmen is talking about, which is, what now? What is the result of this thing we called the Canadian New Thought Conference that we worked so hard on? And I'm telling you, we worked hard on this. You know what? We worked lovingly on this. There was hard work. There were times when it was very busy, but it was all approached with love. And after 2 years, you know, I walk away from loading out last Sunday and going home and collapsing into my bed, thinking, well, what now? What's next? What is next? that part of the plot is over. It's wrapped up. It is complete. And yet nothing is ever complete. This is the great lesson. Nothing is ever complete. We have evolved as a community. I have evolved as a minister. We are in a perfect evolution. It's what I talked about last week, that everything is constantly unfolding with greatness. And it can't do anything but that when we approach life based on one thing and one thing only, and that's love. That's why I'm so passionate about this painting and ensuring that we secure the funds to purchase this painting for the center, because I think it's absolutely perfect. You know, it's a constant reminder every time I look at it. Of course, what do you see? You see the word love. You know, I'm here less to express an idea about God, and more, I am here to express one thing, and that's love. That's all I know. That's all I can know. So we are in the Dénouement. We're wrapping it up. You know, all the weeks that led up, there were about 3 weeks in a row, I talked about all the difficulties that we were faced with the conference. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's all just circumstances. It's all just circumstances. And lo and behold, the circumstances worked themselves out because they had to. Because at the core of it was this idea that we were all moving forward with love. And there was nothing that was standing in the way when all of our decisions were made with love and from love. You know, yes, could we have still been at the St. Lawrence Center for the Arts? And Dr. Pat Campbell, she sent me her talk that she prepared for today, because she's going to talk a little bit about the conference and about how it all transpired, because I've been on the phone. You know, she's doing next year's conference, so she's been calling me and asking me a lot of questions about how the conference unfolds and all the decisions that we made. And, you know, when we were at the St. Lawrence Center and I started telling her about the difficulties we were having, you know, she was on the road with us. And so she's talking today about how the perfection of Spirit played itself out in service to this community, because we could have gone to the St. Lawrence Center and had a very different high-tech, flashy experience, but that may not have been in service to what really needed to happen, which was we landed in the perfect place. We landed in the perfect place to experience love as a community. And so, now what? Now what? It's the big question. Now what? What is it that you, this is rhetorical, we are going to have, I still am going to let you know when the questions are rhetorical, but I want you to bring to mind something that you have experienced in your life. And maybe there was a point at which you felt like, oh, that was the closure of that experience. And it may be something grand on what you consider to be a grand scale, or it may be something that is not on a grand scale. It's on a very small scale. Just allow yourself to bring that to mind. And really look at what the circumstance of that thing was or is. And it is to the degree that you allow it to live in your mind. So bringing it to mind now allows it to be present in your reality right here and right now. And what is the next thing? What has that taught? What is the next unfoldment of that thing? How do you move forward? You know, there are a lot of ideas. Now, this is the next thing. There are a lot of ideas that the board and Helen and I had in terms of what we anticipated would be happening following the conference. And those are just ideas. You know? I think the thing that the big lesson here for me is that I must at all times allow myself to be open to exactly what is happening and not judge it, not decide that it's wrong because it may not live up to some old paradigm that I had in my mind about what should be, but trusting in the flow That's the big lesson, trusting in the flow, which is why we ended up at that church. And it was not without its own level of difficulty. So I am going to say, we are intending to send out a survey. I will tell you, we're going to preface the survey by saying, we understand that there were sound problems. There were sound problems, so you don't need to tell us that there were sound problems, right? We understand that. That's fine. So there were challenges or opportunities that were brought up by being in that space. And the great news about that is we have learned from the experience. And it gives us a grounded understanding of how to move forward now. So what's next? What is next for this community? And this is what I want us all to start really putting our focus on. What is next for this community? And it goes back to one of those early questions that I asked when I first got here. And it's something that comes up not infrequently when I speak on Sundays, and that is, why are you here? Why do you come here on a Sunday morning? Rhetorical. What is it that draws you to this place? And really step into allowing whatever it is that draws you here to be present with you when you leave this place. Because it's great to come here and feel inspired. It's great to come here and hear great music. It's great to have this uplifted, joyful experience on a Sunday. But if you walk out that door and you don't carry that with you, then why do you show up? Because there is no way that we will ever affect the world to the degree that we want to affect the world without carrying what it is we are learning here with us into the world and being the leaders by example. One of the things that I was very clear to teach my practitioner students, and this was the first practitioner class that I have taught on my own. I had Helen and Margaret Ann as TAs in the class, but I had only ever been a TA with other practitioner classes when I was early on in my ministry with James Mellon, teaching those classes. This is the first class that really is truly like I embrace them all because they're my kids. One of the things that I was very clear to teach and to remind them of in many classes is it is our responsibility to be living examples of the principles we teach. And this is what I offer to each and every person in this room. By being here, you are making a commitment, whether you know it or not, to stepping into an idea that works for you. And living that principle beyond these walls, it changes the world. It changes the world. It has to. My family was here this week. My sister was one of the workshop presenters at the conference. And so she had come in and she experienced the whole conference, and it was wonderful to get to spend time with her because, she lives in Arizona, so we only see each other in person maybe twice a year, if that. And then on Monday, her husband and her two boys, 9 and 12, flew up from Arizona to join her, and we had a nice week together as a family. Did a bunch of things. We went to the island and on the day that it didn't rain. And we were going to go in the CN Tower, but when we got there, the boys said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go to the aquarium. So we went to the aquarium. And we had just a wonderful, wonderful visit. On Friday, we knew it was going to rain, and so we said, well, let's just relax. Why don't we just go see a movie? And the movie we chose to see was Tomorrowland. Now, one thing that I don't, I talk about being a big fan of superheroes. One of the other things I am a huge fan of is Disneyland. Huge fan of Disneyland. When I lived in Southern California, I had an annual pass, so I would go there very frequently. And it's hit and miss when Disney decides to make a movie based on one of their attractions. The Haunted Mansion, not so good. Tomorrowland, so good. So much better than I was anticipating. I thought it was going to be based on, so great, Tomorrowland. Like, how do you make a movie based on one of the lands at Disneyland? It just wasn't jiving for me in my brain. I really just did say jiving. Yeah. it really wasn't clicking for me or jiving for me in my mind that they could make a really great movie based on Tomorrowland. And I was simply blown away in watching this movie. First of all, I'm a big fan of George Clooney, so there you go. It has a really deep, new thought message. And that's the thing that I was truly moved by. Now, there is one point in the movie where they kind of just pound you over the head with it, admittedly. But the whole movie is really about collective consciousness. It's about how we, as a community, think. And what are the thoughts that we are deciding to latch on to, and what are the thoughts that we are deciding to affirm in our own lives that are basically fed to us from the collective? And it comes down to, as an individual, what is my relationship to the collective, and how am I either supporting the evolution of the world or giving into the de-evolution? Ultimately, it's the devolution, yeah, the de-evolution. Because it is a cautionary tale. Tomorrowland is a cautionary tale. And what it really is saying is, how do we affect the world individually, moving out into the world, understanding that we affect the collective consciousness. And that's all done by standing firm in who we say we are. Do you consider this is not a rhetorical question. Do you consider yourself evolved? Yes? This is a rhetorical question. If you answered yes to that, now in your own mind, ask yourself this. Why do I consider myself evolved? What is that thing in mind that proves to me that I am evolved? Yeah, I said it was a rhetorical question. That's okay. What is that thing in me that proves to me that I am evolved? The collective is totally affected by what you're thinking right here in this moment. Ernest Holmes wrote, "One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority." If you think on any level that you do not have the capacity to change the world, you're wrong. It's very rare that I say you're wrong, but you are wrong. Each and every one of us has the capacity to change the world. And so with this sense of power that you may gain from that knowledge, what are you doing to change the world? And are your thoughts in service to the flow of life and the flow of love and a deeper sense of our connection to the whole? Or are they moving back towards what has been the paradigm that I grew up with, which is competition and separation? I come from an acting background. There is almost no profession that is more fiercely competitive than being an actor. Right, Tanis? Uh-huh. One of the great lessons that, as an actor, that I had to finally learn one day is I'm not being judged for how well I perform a role. In fact, I'm not being judged at all. I'm being looked at. Every casting director you walk into, they want you to succeed. They want you to succeed. Every director wants you to succeed. Trust me, they don't want to sit there for hours looking at actor after actor after actor. They want the actor to walk in and there it is. That's the one. And so, as the actor in the world, are you moving into life being the one, because that's ultimately what it boils down to in the audition. Be. You're not doing, you are being. Acting is not a doing thing, acting is a being thing. So are we, each of us, moving into the world being rather than doing? Because at the end of the day, that's how we affect change in this world, by being the change. A lot of wise people. Gandhi said it, but we all follow the idea, be the change we wish to see in the world. So who are you today? Who are you today? And what is it that you move forward with today? Because now, I look back on the circumstances that constituted the experience of the 2015 Canadian New Thought Conference, and I must now allow them to be behind me. It was a wonderful experience, and it's over. And yet it's not. It's over in the sense that the circumstances are complete as they unfolded. But it is never over because I get to walk away with new ideas and fresh new considerations in terms of how I approach the world as a spiritual being. And this does affect the growth of this center. This does affect this community because this is what we each walk away with. So what is it that you walk away with? And how now do you choose to move forward? Because that's true dénouement, recognizing that there is never truly an end. There is no end. There is simply the perfect transformation and the next step. Plots are very tidily wrapped up most of the time. Depends on, who wrote the script. But most of the time it's very tidy. They have a beginning, middle, and end. And I can look at the conference experience and say there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. And actually we're still in the end of it because I still have a ton of bookkeeping to do around the whole conference experience, but that's all happening, it's all underway. But in the wrap-up of recognizing that it was a cohesive thing, and I can look at it and recognize it as a cohesive thing, how do I now break beyond the bonds of that thing? What's next? What is next? There is no end, only beginnings. And so as the conference wrapped itself up and came to a close, it really does beg the question, what's next? New beginnings. New beginnings. This center has undergone tremendous transformation over the many years that I've been here now. And I think one of the things that drives the board nuts is that I'm always looking for what is the next experience of transformation? What is next? This community has transformed itself, and for that I am grateful. And we will experience continued transformation because we have to, because that's the nature of the divine. That is the nature of spirit. That is the nature of the forward progression and movement of love in the lives of each and every one of us. Because our lives are focused, when we focus our lives on love, our lives cannot unfold in anything but love. And so we are transformed by that. We are not the same people we were when we walked into this building, not a single one of us. Because there's something that we have each taken into our experience, consciously or subconsciously, that we are moving forward with now. Not a single one of us is the same. When we really understand that change is the only constant, then we can let go of what has been, let go of what we anticipate to be, and be fully present because we are constantly transforming experience of the divine right in this moment. And so what is it that proves to you in this moment that you are an evolved, enlightened experience of life? Is that very thing itself. You are an experience of life itself. You are the embodiment of love. You are God. It's funny, I have this thought that has come to mind. It's reactionary. It's actually a reactionary thought. And it's funny because I don't usually have a reactionary thought to saying, you are God, I am God. That has dissipated in me. But in that moment, I was thinking, well, I'm actually having a reaction to that. This is the reaction. That was a great message that we received throughout the weekend, the weekend of the conference. And it's a message that I wanted to be prevalent in the experience of the conference. Each and every one of us is God because there is nothing separate, so it must be us and the wall and everything, because God is infinite, we're part of infinity. It's just logical. And with all due respect to, yes, I am going there. With all due respect to the spiritual leader of the Centers for Spiritual Living, Ken Gordon, it was very interesting, him being the last speaker last Sunday. You may not have noticed this to the degree that I did, but you notice how he kind of tried to backtrack it a little bit? It was an interesting thing that he did. And here's the thing that I'm really grateful for, is it's something that I actually touched on when I spoke last week, which is not everybody can get on that train yet. And that's okay. To what degree are you on the train? That's who Ken Gordon was speaking to. The people who can't be there yet. And allow yourself to be okay with where you are if you cannot stand up and say, I am God. Yeah. Allow yourself to be okay with where you are. Because recognizing and knowing where you are puts you in that place of knowing where you want to be. And in knowing where you want to be, you have now set the course for your life. Don't allow your course to be narrow, open it up. Because there are infinite possibilities, there's infinite probability in the way it all unfolds. I am perfectly comfortable standing up here and saying, I am God. And so are you. Each and every one of it. Each and every one of us is that divine power. But it's a scary thing for so many. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Because what it did for me in my life is it allowed me to stop making excuses for why I couldn't. And put me in the position of knowing why I could and why I can. And knowing that I can allows me to be a leader. And each and every one of you to be a leader. And so I actually go back to sort of how I started this today. What's next? How do we walk out of here and demonstrate to the world by example the principles that we learn in this space? I think that what we teach is what Jesus taught. He said Jesus. It's shocking because we don't claim to be specifically a Christian theology. We're not a Christian theology, but I do talk about Jesus once in a while. But Jesus basically was here to teach the New Thought principles. It was Jesus who said, the Father and I are one. In that he is saying, I am God, and so are you. He had a deeper understanding, and this is what he was trying to express. We are that divine place of expression as life. He also said, it is done unto you as you believe. Well, that's the law of cause and effect. As we believe, so our life unfolds. So what is it that we are choosing to believe? Because whatever that is, that's how it's all going to happen. When I let go of my deeply felt belief that the conference had to express itself in a particular way and trusted, that's when the conference presented itself in exactly the way that it needed to. Sometimes we need to let go of our beliefs, thinking we know what is right and what is the best, so that we can experience what is truly the most profound experience we can experience. That was my big lesson. And so, I stand before you a changed minister and a changed man. And I trust and know that this community continues to thrive. I trust and know that this community continues to unfold magnificently. I trust and know that this community continues to affect this entire city, this entire country, and ultimately the world. Because the great news is, when we understand that it's all God, then we understand that the walls don't actually exist. The borders don't actually exist. And my thought right here and right now fundamentally changes the entire universe. And this is the truth for each and every one of us. Your thoughts create your experience. Your thoughts create your experience. And so every week we kind of come full circle to this, the fundamental principle of new thought. Your thoughts create your experience. So what are you thinking? We can have the experience of Tomorrowland. I'm not giving much away because I would love for you all to go see it. We can have the experience of Tomorrowland right here in this present moment. And it's all done based on the thoughts you are thinking. Because Tomorrowland ultimately could be considered an allegory for heaven. And heaven is a state of mind. And this was the struggle within that movie. Are we going to live in heaven, or are we going to live in hell? And there's no getting there. It's all present right here and right now. So, there you are. That's all I have to say today. It's funny because, when I used to write my talks, I always had a lovely way of trying to wrap it all up. But I'm done. So there you are. Namaste. Interesting to have that experience again and allow it to unfold within me. I don't know. And I love you. Thank you. I'm going to invite us all to take out whatever it is we're offering the center today.
Do we want to do the birthday song
Oh,
first?
yeah, we should do the birthday. Let's do birthdays first.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
All right, who has the, you have it there.
Oh,
Someone is.
no entries.
Nobody has a birthday or an
Nobody's
anniversary in
celebrating
June?
anything? All right.
That's
Well,
amazing. Has this ever happened before?
Never.
Wow.
Wow. It's Father's Day month. Well,
How many of us are fathers or have fathers? No. All right.
there we
Well,
are.
then, the Father's Day song. You know what? It is. It already is God's. So we will honor the amount that we've set aside from last month and allow it to feed this center and the work that we're doing in the world.
Yeah.
There we are. Yes. So now, I invite you to take whatever it is you're offering the center today as in terms of a financial contribution, your commitment to this teaching and this philosophy by means of this center. This is simply a means to an end, and this is not the only means. I want to be very clear on that, because one of the things that I do teach is the concept of tithing, which is allowing 10% of your gross to be fed back out into the world and directing it to the places where you are spiritually nourished. And I never claim that this is the only place where people receive spiritual nourishment. If this is one of the places where you receive spiritual nourishment, I invite you to simply give of your heart by making a financial contribution and know that it moves through this center to do great things in the world. It supports places like Casa Guatemala. It supports the youth of our center. It supports because we're constantly looking for ways to give back. That is a commitment of mine as a minister, because this center means nothing if we think that we need to hoard the money to make it work. We don't. It's all about giving back to the world. So, as the baskets go around, what are we singing today?
God is my source.
God is my source. We haven't done this in a long time.
For
but
a year.
Yeah, for a year. So I invite you to stand and allow the baskets to go around. Put whatever it is you feel in your heart is appropriate into that basket. And yeah, let's sing this.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need.
Love gives me everything I need. I'm going to invite Carmen up to the front as Fred and Jim bring the baskets up. I also want to invite anyone who is online to give of your heart as well, with the understanding that love is the givingness of spirit, and so we engage in love as love. Carmen's going to do a blessing over what we have received today.
As I take a breath and allow the expression of gratitude, the expression of thankfulness and appreciation for what is here right now in this moment, this offering, this giving of life to itself to become and be an expansion of the expression of life, I simply say thank you. For life is all there is, and it is ever giving unto itself to be experienced. And so with this offering, this is what is happening. I receive this on behalf of the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto, knowing that it is giving unto itself a deeper and bigger and greater expression of love and life. This is what I know to be true. I simply let it be so, and together we say, and so it is.
Moving this out here for comfort. As we allow ourselves to relax into the final moments of this celebration, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your being here today, for making your consciousness a part of this experience, and the deeper recognition that this room and everyone who is online, we are a community. Everyone who walks through these doors is part of this loving, giving community. And that is something that I am so grateful for. As we breathe, I invite you to close your eyes and relax and allow yourself to resonate with whatever it is that you heard today. It may be one thing, it may be many things. Allow yourself to simply bask in the energy of that thing, that transformative thing. And as we move from this place today, allow yourself to know that at any moment we can send these feelings, we can send this energy forth, allow it to precede us. And this is the way we shift the world.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the seas. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
I send my peace.
I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me.
So right here, right now, we are the point of illumination. We are the enlightened ones, for we recognize the light that is inherently within. That light is the light of the divine, and there is no separation. That light actually is the entire beingness of each and every one of us. We are God. And we recognize God in every single person we encounter. For there is nothing but, there is only this divine loving presence. There is only this divine creative energy. There is only one. There is this thing and nothing else. This is the truth, as I understand it. And I live in this truth. And I invite each and every one of us to live at the level of our own recognition to this truth, in this truth. And I am grateful for what this means to me in my life. For I know that with this, I no longer move forward saying I cannot. I only move forward saying I can and I do. And the doing comes from the being. And I trust and know that each and every one of us is a perfect beingness of spirit. I give over to the flow of life and love. I give over to the flow of gratitude. I give over to the flow of the creative nature of God through me, as me, and I recognize it in every single person I encounter. I live this truth every single day. I live this truth to the depth of my soul, and I am grateful for it. And I simply allow that gratitude to fill me up. And I live firmly in the gratitude for all that has transpired to make this moment happen, this moment right here and right now. With the recognition that it is the community and the collective consciousness of this idea of love that makes this unfold in this perfect way. I am grateful today and in this moment for our board members on duty. I'm grateful for Fred and Jim.
I'm grateful to Lori, who set up today, and I'm grateful to our greeters, Shaw Rose and Judy. Grateful to Nick in the bookstore. I'm grateful to Carrie on our soundboard. I'm grateful to Tony on our camera, allowing this message to be broadcast to the world. I am grateful to Lena out with our dynamic kids today. I am grateful to Linda for her meditation today, and I'm grateful to Carmen for her words of insight and inspiration today. I'm grateful to Pierre Gautreau, the Queen Street Band. I'm grateful that Pierre is expressing himself in a new way, unseen by this center previously. And I'm grateful to this community with the recognition that we are each of us, whether we know it or not, expressing ourselves in a way that has never been seen before, because this moment is unique. And this moment is unique. And there's nothing that is ever the same. The only constant is change, and so I trust and know that we are all unfolding as greatness. This is what I breathe into in this moment. And as I relax, I let it go. I let these words affect the law, knowing that they are complete, they are done, and my life unfolds accordingly. I let it be so, and I know it is so, as together we say, and so it is. Let's sing, I Send My Joy.
I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me.
I send my love.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
Repeat that last line.
And it returns to me.
Beautiful, thank you. So let's kick this energy. You're looking at me like there's something that needs to be said. Oh, that's right. You know, yeah, just as a reminder, do check out the bookstore, because a lot of the product we are going to, if it doesn't go today, we're going to send it back because we have an overstock. But if you buy it all, then we don't have to send any of it back. So do check out the bookstore today. A lot of the Beckwith stuff and great stuff up there, always. Anyway, we're going to end the day kicking this out into the street with Let Your Love Flow. Have a great week, everyone.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky. There's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season when that love light shine all around us. So let that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. There's a reason for the warm streets nights. There's a reason for the candlelight. Must be the season when those love lights shine all around us. So let that wonder take you deep in space and lay you under. It's love and embrace, just feel the thunder as it warms your face. You can't hold back. Oh, let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you'll know what I mean, it's the season. Yeah, let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine. And you'll know what I mean, that's the reason. Let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you'll know what I mean, it's the season. Yeah, let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine. And you'll know what I mean, that's the reason. And let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean, that's the reason. And let your love shine.